Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mysticraven. Alright. So, I usually, like, when I'm not streaming, you know, or when I'm cooking or whatever, I kind of browse, you know, I get all these, you know, recommendations on YouTube from other fellow content creators. And recently, Sawman, Captain Crunch, Horcrux, a ton of content creators have banded together to call out ZeniMax in their appalling sale for Respec scrolls. Now, here's the deal. I don't agree with the price point. Okay? I think it is a ripoff. Right from the get. I think whoever does their ZeniMax's marketing is horrible. They're horrible because nobody's going to buy it.
This is taking longer than I'd planned.
The biggest thing, let's get into this. Just I'll come in. First off, the new crates are out. They have these sales, right? Nobody ever talks about the sales they have, the limited time offers, you know, little sales like that. But, you know, when you talk about any of the utilities or even furnishing, like, it's outrageous. I've always said that there has been two problems in this game. I don't mind any game doing what ZeniMax does here. The argument still stands that this is a business, right? Now, they do sucker you into ESO Plus. You can't get around not having ESO Plus if you're going to play this game. You just can't. First off, if you don't have it, it cuts down half your banking capacity, and you don't have your craft bag. Now, I remember when we didn't have craft bags back in the day. So when craft bags got released, that was a blessing in so many ways, right? So if you're going to play Elder Scrolls at any capacity, you're going to get ESO Plus. Unless you're PvPer and you just like, screw it, I don't need to craft shit. You know, I don't need to craft a damn thing. I'll just buy, you know, my stuff with gold. And a lot of people can buy stuff, you know, on the Crown Store and list it. Or sell crowns for gold. Right? They can do that. They literally can do that in this game. ZeniMax, if they want to make extra revenue in an item shop, that's fine. I have been in games like Rift where they sell looted gear. Looted gear. From real money. That's a pay to win. And everybody's like, well, this game's pay to win. Because you have to buy these chapters. You have to... This is where I'm going to defend ZeniMax a little bit here. They're a business. There's no game. No game. If I want to play Final Fantasy and I want to play the new content, or if I want to play the new job, I have to buy the expansion. Is that a pay to win? No. That's paying for my content. That's how the game's able to keep producing more content. So when people want to complain like, oh, this class or this race is locked behind a DLC, no, it's not. You can buy them in the Crown Store. Why would you, though? That becomes my question. Why would you buy the classes, right? Why would you buy the classes in the Crown Store when you can just get the chapter? And majority of the time, the chapters are on sale. I got friends who don't even buy chapters when they release because they've been doing such a horrible job with the new content that they just wait until it goes on sale because they know it will. Hold on, no, let me. But they know it will. They know it will. Silver, yo, what's up? How are you doing today? So when I see all these content creators complaining and complaining and complaining, I'm like, look, man, I don't want to stick up for ZeniMax. I really don't. But in a way, I have to. Now I have to because they have to make money to keep, the game, delivering content. It's a business. Now, do I think it's like the crown crates? I'm totally against the crown crate system. It's gambling. Right? I've said they need to 86 this whole project because in some countries this is illegal. This system is completely illegal. They would make more revenue just selling something outright. I bought a couple of crates with my crowns, and I got a couple of items, and that's cool, but I'm not a gambler. I'm not going to throw money at something to get like something like this. Now, that's why they brought the Endeavor systems out, right? So now you can do the Endeavors and get these items. You can get that now. If you want to save up to get something like this, you can do that. Now you can do that. They didn't have to do that, but they did that. But I still think they should get rid of it. I still think they should get rid of this. Why? Because they would make more money just selling it outright instead of putting a lockbox system behind it. They would make more revenue saying, okay, this is worth X amount of crowns. It basically just put it into, to the crowns, like we do with mounts over here. Convert that into a seasonal, purchase system without the crates. So if I want to buy a mount, they should have those items listed here. And people would buy it directly. Look, I have purchased mounts on here. I have. And people would pay for it. The Crown Crate system should just get 86'd completely and convert the Endeavors into what? Earning, the ability to purchase those limited items. They would make more money doing that. I don't understand why ZeniMax put themselves in that scenario when it's so controversial in other countries. It was a bad marketing decision. It's a terrible marketing decision. But regardless, they have to make revenue. Okay, hold on. I have to open this back up because I'm on my phone and things up. Starting to feel a little better. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, crown crates are a scam, right? They would make less, though, as the idea is so people... Well, here's the deal, though. Only an X amount of people have a compulsive order, a compulsive desire to keep buying crowns. So, no. See, that's the thing me and my brother... My brother's an executive of marketing, right? My background is economics, right? So I was an equity specialist. So I'm aware of macro and microeconomics. And actually, they would make more money. It's the idea of like this. I tell people, if you could employ more people, right, and bring down taxes, you would actually make more in taxable revenue. Why? Because you have more people working. right? But the less people work, what do you end up having to do? You have to raise taxes to do what? Meet your fiscal, you know, your annual, amount of money that you need for your government, local government or state to operate, right? So the more people working, you can decline the amount of taxes that everybody pays, right? But the less people work, the higher the tax rate. It's the same principle, right? It's the same principle. So a lot of people aren't compulsive enough to keep throwing money into crown crates. Some people just get them. Like, if I have extra crowns, sure, I'll pick up a couple crates. But will I buy 100 crates? No. I'm not compulsive enough to do it. And most people have that realistic perspective. Yep, I have an honor degree in marketing. Yep. One person I know spent $800 to get a mount. That's just one person. Yeah. That is crazy. As it's like 0.2% the best mount. Right. But that's what I'm saying. So, but if it was direct, right? If you had an amount that was direct, would more people buy it outright? Yeah. It's the same thing with the idea of the crown sale they have, right? That's their most lucrative time of the year is crown sale. Why? Because it's half off, or roughly around half. So more people are buying it. That's how marketing works. They're not making more money when it's at full price. They're making more money when it's reduced. Why? Because people recognize it's a deal. It goes back to supply and demand. But we have virtual supply, so it's limitless. I agree. It's disgusting. I played ESO 4 years and stopped because of it. I understand, Rush. Yep. I have a friend who bought a large sum of money in crown food and potions because he was starting the game and didn't understand. Yeah, and that's the problem. I mean, and I'm not arguing that. You can even earn mounts either. Right, and that's wish I kind of wish they have now content that you could start earning mounts, but everybody always wants to paint the developers in a bad light. But listen, like I said, you go to Rift or you go to some other games and they have the gear in the game. Right? They have it in the game. I have no problem paying for ESO Plus. I have no problem buying the chapters to get access to that content. That's what they do. That's a business model. They have to make revenue to keep development moving forward. I don't mind the aesthetics that they put here. I feel the crown crate system is very controversial when they could just be selling these limited items directly. Now, if people want convenience, if they want a convenience and say, oh, I want to get my, sky shards. I've already unlocked all my sky shards. I'm making a tune. And they want to pay for that convenience. That's fine. I would never do that. But for new players to come in here and buy stuff like, like for example, your mount books, for your speeds and stuff, they're convenient. If people want to buy that, whatever. But when you take a look at the price conversion to gold, it's not, I don't understand the price point. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when people want to buy these scrolls, and I'm like, they're locked, but some of them are locked behind crown crates. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm going to buy crown crates to get an instant all research. Now, you can get them for your daily logins. This is true. But look at the price point. And then when you do the math, it doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, why? Whoever does their marketing is terrible. It's like, why wouldn't you do like, 5 of these for 100? That would make more sense. People would be a little bit more amped to do it. Like, I don't understand who comes up with the price points. It's like, it's unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? Like the Any Race, Any Alliance. I hate that that people have to buy that. That to me is the so questionable thing. I understand the lore behind it, but it's a part where you're going to get it regardless. What Respec sale? There was a Respec sale. There's a whole bunch of content creators that went over this. I'm like, really, guys? Now I have to step up and kind of. I agree to a degree. I agree to a degree, but you guys have to understand, it is a business. I understand what you're saying. I think many other content creators just jump bandwagon, as like you said. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Right. You can buy the horse book with Endeavors, but I don't see anything about Endeavors pop up to the new players coming. Right. There's a lot to be had as far as like it's up to us as content creators, or even up to a lot of people to try to, put people in the right direction, point people in the right direction. But like, some players won't even look that up, and they won't know better. And like you guys have said, they'll come in here and they'll just start purchasing on a credit card, or even if it's a kid, they'll just put it on mom and dad's credit card. By the time you look at the bill, your credit card's racked up because your kid just spent, I don't know, like $500-$600 in game store. I've had that happen to a real life friend. Like, my friend got in, their kid got into I want to say Call of Duty or something, and bought a ton of those boxes, those crates. And I'm like, this has been the controversy since the get. And I wish that ZeniMax would 86 this. Get rid of this. Still do your seasonal, every so many months, limited time items, but sell it like crown items direct.
I've got what you need.
Get rid of the system. Get rid of it. It is a compulsive addiction for some people. Get rid of it. You'd make more revenue. And you would be out of the controversy. My friend wasn't a kid. It was a 55-year-old man with kids in college who bought all those supplies. Wow. Not knowing they were available in game. Yeah, that's terrible, man. Anyone collected those 16K seals for those mounts? I don't know. But yeah, man. I mean, seriously, ZeniMax is a business, though, and that's what I keep trying to refer to. I'm like, look, ZeniMax is a business. They're going to go ahead. They have to make revenue, and this item shop is a lot less evasive than some games. And if it ever got to the point where gear would be available in this crown item in the crown store, I would quit playing the game. I have walked away from games that do that, but you can't look up a game. Even Final Fantasy has, a skip, feature that you can buy and skip, or, mass level a job. Every game has some features to save the time or the hassle. Is that pay to win? That becomes questionable. That's argumentative. That is always going to be argumentative. But here's my deal. I said I have no problem, zero, with anything they've ever offered in the store except the crown crates. I'm like, I get them, but if somebody's got an addictive whatever, yeah. Now, I think the marketer, whoever's behind the marketing,
The right.
should get canned, and because they're really terrible at their job. They're terrible. They're awful. Oh, God, they're awful. They are really, really terrible, man. They are... I don't know who is trying to figure out the price points, let alone, the marketing behind what's coming up, in the sales and whatever. I feel like whoever did the scroll sale thing really does need an evaluation, and I feel like, but do I feel like, it was intentionally, like for us, we would never get it. Okay, let's be honest. Would we ever buy a Respec scroll? No. Would we ever recommend people to buy a Respec scroll? No. Why are Respec scrolls in the game? That becomes questionable anyways. Why do we have Respec scrolls? Experience scrolls, I totally understand. Lore book, purchases and Sky Shard purchases, okay, I'm never going to get it, but I understand why it's there, right? I get it. But Respec scrolls, Vampire Bites, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand why it's there. Now, cures, why the fuck would anybody buy a cure, right? So, but the thing is, some content creators want to always say, oh, it's pay to win, it's pay to win. It's not a pay to win. It's not. If I play any game, I have to buy the newest expansion or newest form to play that content, or get that class, or get this, or get that. That's not ever been a pay to win, in my opinion. It only costs like 8k gold to Respec, right? Yeah. Don't advertise for things that we can earn. Yeah, I agree with that. Exactly. Whoever's behind the marketing totally needs, and they need to evaluate that. It paints ZeniMax in a bad light. I will say that. But I'm not going to sit there and tell people I'm not going to purchase any. I'm not going to give ZeniMax an extra dime because of what they've done. Or, oh, it's pay to win. I'm never going to say that. This is where I have to defend ZeniMax now. So, I have an issue with classes locked behind paywalls that were created years after the launch class that are inherently better due to that. Now, I do think that they definitely do gimmicks like that certain classes need adjusted properly. I will say that. Like, ZeniMax is terrible at doing gimmicks. Would I still say it's a pay to win? No. Why? Because if you play any other game, if I want to play Final Fantasy and I want to play that new Reaper class, would I have to buy the expansion? Is it locked behind a paywall? Yeah. Yeah, it is. It totally is. Is that pay to win? No. So you see what I'm saying? So that's no different. Now, do I think ZeniMax does cheap gimmick stuff to get people to buy their latest chapters? But listen, no other game. Well, I shouldn't say no other game. Majority of other games don't allow you to get every previous chapter when you buy the newest one. No other game does that. A lot of games don't do that. I think Final Fantasy does. I think. And this game does. But World of Warcraft, I remember I used to have to buy those previous expansions. If I wanted access to like a feature. Yeah, I didn't necessarily need to go to that zone or whatever. But there's times like in EverQuest, yeah, man, I had to have those expansions. I had to. They weren't bundling stuff. They weren't doing that. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, you don't. Now I have to defend a company because people want to go ahead and say, "Oh, it's pay to win," and it's like we always have to pay for content, right? Go to a movie once. Here's my thing. Go to the movies in today's market, right? Right? You will spend on two people almost $30 to watch a movie for 2 hours. Why? Because you're going to pay for the price of the ticket. You're going to go to the concession stand and price just a pop, a simple beverage at the concession stand. I'm serious. And then you're going to complain. People are going to complain about what? Spending, countless amount of hours for a new chapter for their entertainment. You see what I'm saying? You're always going to, you know what I'm saying, pay for a service, right? For entertainment, for services, right? That's the nature of the beast. But when ZeniMax is, like I said, you can't get around ESO Plus. You have to have it. The Any Race, Any Alliance, I wish people didn't have to buy that. I honestly don't. I get the lore behind it. I just really am not a fan of that. I wish that would be gone. There's a lot of things I can sit there and nitpick about. I think we all can do that. But once again, I just feel like ZeniMax isn't the all evil, even though some of the things they do is paints them in a bad light and takes advantage of unaware individuals. Tavis, I do most things crown for gold, right? And avoid paying as much as possible. Yep. Thank you, Tavis, and morning to you too. And you could get major vulnerability nowhere else, right? And that's the problem. They got gear now on the new set that has a chance to apply major vulnerability. Like I said, some of the things that ZeniMax does has been, the gimmicks system behind what they do has been annoying. That's why I left this game. I left this game 2 years ago because of the gimmicks that they pull. I'm like, you don't need to go down this path. You don't need to do this. You can sell the content. You can sell, and people will still buy it. You don't need to gimmick it. Stop doing that. You are annoying individuals the more you gimmick something. You're alienating your consumer. Okay? That's not kosher. I've repeatedly said that ZeniMax needs to get away from gimmicks.
Anyone who has house
they need to stop it. And the thing about it is, every time when we see a content like Blackwood, I think Blackwood was a little lackluster. I like the nostalgia behind it, but as far as something like Greymore, very, very lackluster in comparison. Very lackluster. The replayability is very, fleeting. So I'm like, oof. And their excuses for not keeping up with the PvP community, I really do need to reach out to Rich and them. I think I've earned some respect, but some annoyance over there. But I do. My intentions are always good for them, and they have listened to a couple of things I've said in the past. A couple of things, and I'll reach out. I'll probably send an email or something. Whether they respond or not, it's at their discretion. But I honestly think there's some things that they could do for the PvP community and make more revenue by doing so. Because, oh snap, wrong vial. But yeah, no, I honestly think at the end of the day, it's kind of bit them in the ass to go down this path. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what the heck, yo? Oh, I'm messing up everywhere. But yeah, they definitely need to reevaluate. Okay, it is a damaging one. But they definitely need to reevaluate some things. But at the same time, they're not the most evil, and there's not a ton of paywall stuff. Definitely reach out. I bet you could get through to them. I used to do a Christmas wish list every year. Most of the time they honored, but I got with a lot of community members and stuff. I've known Matt for a long time. But it doesn't always mean they always agree with me. I bumped heads with people in the past. I had a tendency not to come across in the nicest way at times. So it's like, yeah, we'll listen to Mystic, but it doesn't mean we'll actually listen to Mystic, And then I'm like, blah 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 blah. And I kind of go off. Don't think having Warden Necro is pay to win, though. I don't agree. I agree with you. I don't either. Right. But is it a gimmick? Yeah, it's a gimmick. Have they ever played any free-to-play MMO, especially from... Right, thank you. Exactly, Dave. There's so much, like pay-to-win stuff that you're going to be buying so much. Like Black Desert. I bought Black Desert for $30 or something. The first day I played it, I dropped 100 into it. The first day I played it, I dropped 100. I was like, woof. Woof. Right? You're like, ouch. And the more grindy it became, and the more they kept pushing these, item stuff, I was like, no, I'm out, man. I love the combat, I love the graphics, but man, this thing's going to eat not only my time, it's going to eat the wallet I don't have. And that's what I'm saying. This game is not even close to being on some of that level. So when people really want to sit there and say, it's pay to win, it's pay to this, I'm like, yo, man, go to a movie. You quit playing MMOs. Go to a movie one day for 2 hours. For 2 hours. See how much you spend. Are you getting your money's worth? That becomes the question. So, yeah, now I have to defend ZOS. Against the... oh my God, it's so evil. They're so greedy. They're a business. Listen, man, I own my own IP. I met with a number of very reputable individuals. I knew investors also in this field. Some of the investors had no problem. Was going to be willing participants. Problem of it is, it's the politics behind it. Let's put it in that essence. But let's get realistic. I know how to generate revenue.
If you're looking,
I know how, and I'll be honest, it is about the money. It is. They have to make money. The investors have to make money. Right or wrong? Yes. Why? Because it keeps your employees employed. If you invested money in an MMO, would you want to make a profit? Yes or no? If it's your money, do you want to make a profit? Do you just hand millions of dollars and say, don't worry about it, keep it. Keep the money. I don't want a return on my investment. I don't want a return on my investment. That would just be greedy of me. I just want to throw money away. No. Get realistic. Come on. The question of it is, are you getting your money's worth as a consumer? Yes, yep. It's a business. It's a business. Yep. Exactly. So I'm going to defend ZeniMax in this. Hey, my background is business. Okay? I believe in capitalism. A lot of people don't like me to say that. I'm conservative. I don't like the conformist that's infiltrated my party. I don't like that. But yes, my background is business. And yeah, at the end of the day, I'm all for capitalism. And why? It puts people in work and gives them careers. But any investor is going to want to what? Get a return in their investment. Okay, at the bottom line, nobody wants to lose money. Nobody has ever signed up to say, yes, I'm here to throw money away. Right? Nobody's ever signed up to say that. Are you entertained? Yeah, that's a good one, Tavis. Even with issues, mine is mechanical. To me, the only thing really worth it is the ESO sub. ESO sub, I don't mind having it. You know, I'm used to a sub, you know, whatever. I like the option they give. I think it's a little unrealistic, but I like the option they give. Hey, as long as you have it, you can play it. You just can't store anything. Good luck. You know, like if I wanted to cancel my sub, I could do that. I would still have access to this game. That's cool, you know. So once again, though, at the end of the day, everything's a business. So I'm just gonna say, Solomon, hey, go to a game and tell me, and find me a game that doesn't have content that's locked behind expansions and stuff, and tell me it's not pay to win. I like Solomon. I really do. I'm not picking on Solomon. You know, I like his content. I mean, do I think they need to bring up things and shake things up? Maybe, but you know, at the point of making Rich look like he's the prick behind it. No, man. Let me tell you, Rich's job is not in that department either. So they kind of caught off, and Rich can't go ahead and just flog the company he represents to say somebody in the marketing department made a piss poor decision. You know, it's like, you know, hey, Rich, what do you think? Oh, I think that's completely bullshit. Says the man who's the executive director. Come on, get fucking real. If that was one of my employees, I would fire his ass if he said that. You're damn right I would. Let's get real, people. That's the way, right? Correct. All games require you to buy content in order to play it. All companies do this. Thank you, Lycan. Thank you. By the way, if you guys don't know who Lycan is, you better check this dude out. The best werewolf in ESO, I promise. So he could fix the game. That's an issue. Now, I will say resources and alignment, like, the question of it is, we don't know how many people work in the art department in comparison to this. Now, let me tell you something, price point. Engineers, way more expensive than artists. I would know. I've written a prospectus for my company, for the company I was going to launch. I was told by the investors, leave Ohio. Leave it, Mystic. We'll hand you the money. We'll let you do it. We know what you've done for the gaming community in the last 20 years. We'll give you the money. And I'm like, that's not the point. It's not. I just got local idiots in Ohio, you know. But let me tell you, I've written a prospectus, and the next thing you know, when you're going over the salary adjustments, let me tell you something. You'd have to get rid of 2 artists in comparison to an engineer. Not quite, but yeah. They're engineers are not cheap, ladies and gentlemen. They're not. They're like, oh, we should readjust. I'm not saying you're dumb, but you definitely don't have an idea behind salaries, right? And I don't know how many people is in their art department. So should we just fire the entire art department and just call it a day? Hey, by the way, everybody in the art department, you're fired. We're throwing you all away so we can get engineers to fix this piece of shit. So, and then a lot of people don't realize it. Their servers are more than likely leased. I would know about that too. But, they're probably leasing these servers. Thus, that's why they've always said some things that are out of our control. Well, if their servers are outsourced, well, it's kind of out of their control there. So, it's not always, they can fix bugs, but performance comes back to it's a two-sided game. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, we did it on our end. How's it looking over on the server? Good. I mean, think about it. If I own a server, if you're contracted, we make an arrangement. I lease you the space for server capacity, right? It is not my job to cater to your code. My job is just to do what? Lease you the server space. Now, if my servers are starting to default, act funky, or do something, that's on my end. But you know what? It doesn't paint my business. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Huh? Where are you going to go? Nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. Where are you taking your business? Nowhere. You're here, bitch. Now, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying probably the case. Yeah, we'll be switching to a, yep, that's what I see happening. We've been watching Lycan vids a few days. Nice content. Yeah, Lycan's the beast, man, I'm telling you. Does not Microsoft... Microsoft, I'm thinking that's what Rich can't talk about, and that's what's going to happen, to be honest with you. I think Microsoft, but they have to fulfill their contract obligation to the server provider, right? Because it's contracted, and then they're able to transfer the data onto the new server. So yes, I honest. Oh my gosh, I have to go and get that extra recipe. Oh, that's right, because I don't. Whatever, skip it for now. But yeah, no, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, there's a lot that goes into these businesses, right? It's the name of the game, pun intended. So it's like, look, man, I get it. You guys aren't happy, right? People want to find something to bitch about. Honestly, my bitch is the performance and the gimmicks. I'm like, look, I have no problem, paying you for the new content. I got no problem with that. Can you please not make it so stupidly gimmicky? For God's sakes. Come on, guys. Like, come on. Oh, it's shut up. You had werewolves dealing 80k with just a light attack. Really, Rich? Come on, man. Don't make me go off. Don't make me do it. And then a year later, all of your stuff was like dark themed. If Microsoft wanted to, they could fire the whole ZeniMax team. Yeah, they could. But obviously, contract laws are in place. Yep, exactly. All crowns are bought through Microsoft. I don't have a problem either. Yeah. So honestly, this is my deal, man. This is my deal. At the end of the day, Rich is an employee. Stop cornering the man. Stop it. Stop cornering the man. He's not. He's only a bigger link in that chain. Because I'll be honest, like, if I was running the show and friggin' I heard one of my employees disagree with anything, it doesn't matter if he personally disagrees. Rich could personally not agree with what happened, but he'll never be able to say it. Ever. And if he ever did, I would fire his ass. So, there you guys have it. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. There's my 2 cents. So, when everybody wants to jump on this whole bandwagon of let's hate ZeniMax, listen, I'm going to tell you guys something. perfect timing. My phone just died. Perfect thing here. We all can't hate ZeniMax. You know, we can be mad at some of their decisions. We can disagree with some of it, but at the end of the day, they provide us a service. The question of it is, as a consumer, are you happy with that service? And if you're not, here's my recommendation. Go to try, play something else, and tell me if you get better results. Don't worry. I'll wait. As always, I'm Mysticraven. This is Mystic's MMOs. Have a good one, y'all.